Hey everybody, welcome back to Drawbridge Finance. Today I want to talk to you about choosing a brokerage firm for self-directed investments. Awesome, well let's get started. As you guys know, my name is Levi. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't work in the finance industry. I'm not offering advice in any way, shape, or form on this channel. And if you're new to the channel, you should definitely subscribe because I offer insight into two streams of trading. I've got my kind of beginner level trading, just giving general insights into making small investments and how to avoid big taxes and how to keep your fees small and how to make better decisions when you're not getting bullied around by the bank. And that's one of the primary focuses of my channel. And secondarily, I've got an option stream. I've been trading for a very long time, and I have option trading videos, which are a little bit more complex and usually require an account with a bigger size. You need to have, a couple more than just a couple $1,000s in your account before you want to realistically trade options. But I found that it's been a great thing for me, and I love it, and it's way easier than people say, and it actually helps mitigate the risks. So that's why I dedicate a portion of my channel to option trading. But today we're talking about very beginner, self-directed, either RSPs or TFSAs, or if you guys are American, you could talk about any sort of like Roth IRAs, or any sort of investment account that you want to open where you're going to be buying ETFs or stocks within that account. And there's a lot of push right now in the industry to make these fees cheaper and cheaper for people because the banks want your business, they want to have your money, and they understand that people are getting savvy. People are watching YouTube, they're understanding that it's okay for them to make money without paying a broker a huge amount for doing very little. I am an advocate, for one, I am an advocate of a good broker. It is very, very difficult to find good brokers. So I was lucky enough to find one when I was young. He taught me a lot of things, and now I'm kind of relaying that information that I've learned from him over the last 20 years, and that's kind of the dedication to this channel. So today, what we're going to look at is I've made a spreadsheet because I like to build spreadsheets on this channel, and I've built a spreadsheet about different brokers available in Canada that are self-directed. So these are usually lower cost alternatives than going to the bank and letting somebody manage your portfolio for you. Now, of course, there's a huge caveat with this because you have to actually know what you're doing to have a self-directed account. You can't just open the account and expect it to just magically go up and up and up. So you have to find the stocks, do a little bit of research, and that may not be worth your time right away. It might be smart for you to start small with a mutual fund at the bank or with ETFs. I love ETF investing, and especially for smaller portfolios, it's a really good way to do it. I've made videos on that before, and there's one in particular called 7% returns or greater that I think everybody should watch. I'll put a link down in the description below. So if you're new to the channel, please check it out because it's really important to see that it's quite easy to make a 7% return. I know that lots of people naysay this when they come to my channel. They're like, how can you possibly calculate a 7% return? But I assure you it's very easy. We do that every single year on average. Some years like 2018 was lower, but 2017 was a huge year. So anyways, today I'm not going to waste any more of your time. We're going to get into it. We're going to look at this chart, and it's basically going to show some of the big self-directed brokerages and some of the fees associated with each of them. So we're going to include, I'm in Canada, so it's going to include the top 5 big banks. We've got Bank of Nova Scotia, CIBC, Royal Bank, TD, and Bank of Montreal. Those are the big 5, and their trading platforms and their account minimums and stuff. And this is surprising because like Scotiabank used to have a $50,000 minimum buy-in, which I thought was ridiculous, and now they don't have any minimum investment requirement at all, which is great. So this is a side-by-side comparison of each of these different platforms that I think are viable options for Canadian traders. The first column we're going to look at is the platform name. So we've got BMO, CIBC, Qtrade, Questrade, RBC Direct Investing, Scotia iTrade, TD Direct Investing, and Virtual Brokers. Now the figures that I'm looking at on here are for self-directed. This means you're getting no help whatsoever. You do your own research, you find the stocks you want to buy or the ETFs, and then you make the purchase. You log on and do everything yourself, which is relatively easy. I mean, when I started investing, I used to have to phone in and like punch in the telephone trades that I was making out of a newspaper that I read. It was way before the internet. So now we've got it easy. We can just like buy these ETFs and watch our money grow. The trading fees for telephone assisted brokering is much more. So this is just for online, for internet, or for app based trades, just to be clear. So the first thing we're going to look at is annual fees. I'm actually a bit shocked at these. Like, they really punish the people with small accounts. It's like you would think that they would want people with small accounts to invest their money so that they could grow it to a greater amount. But almost every single one of these has a $25 fee per quarter. So if you don't meet the minimum balance requirement, or you don't do at least one transaction per month, then you get nailed with this $100 a year fee, which is pretty steep. I mean, when I started investing, I had $2,000 the very first year. So $100 from 2,000 is a lot of money. Throughout this chart, you're going to see the worst one is going to be red and the best one's going to be green. So the reason I've highlighted this green is because it's got the smallest balance, only requiring $5,000 or above, or one transaction per month, to have no fees whatsoever. So at $100 a year, I would be doing everything that I could to avoid this annual fee. RBC Direct Investing is actually quite good as well, because it has 3 different options: either a $15,000 balance, which is high, or 3 transactions per quarter. And now these are paid transactions, so we'll see that in the next column, what constitutes as a paid transaction, or $300 per quarter deposit, which means that if somebody set up a $100 a month automatic deposit, they would automatically have no fees. So for $1,200 a year going into account, which is way too little for anybody that's actually working. Like, for people working, they should be putting in like 15 to 20% of their gross income into the investments. So the next thing I'm going to look at is ETF transactions. I was a bit surprised at this. I thought most platforms offered free ETF investing, but it goes to show that most of them actually charge. Now, there's a few unknowns on here. I couldn't actually see on virtual brokers whether or not there's a selling fee, but TD Direct Investing, free ETFs, Scotia iTrade, they have some ETFs available for free, but others they charge $10 for. RBC Direct, $9.95. If you do 150 transactions per quarter, you get your ETF transactions for $6.95. Now, I trade a lot. In fact, I trade almost every single day. I do not trade 150 transactions a quarter. That is a lot of trading. You are basically a full-time trader. So this, whenever we see this in this chart, 150 plus transactions, assume that if you're watching this video and you're just starting out investing, that there's no way you're going to make that 150 transaction minimum. So Questrade, buying free, and then they charge you to sell the ETF. Qtrade, again, a selection of ETFs for free, and then others are $8.75. CIBC's a Investor's Edge, $9.95, and then again this discount, this crazy discount for 150 transactions, unattainable. Okay, now let's look at basic trading fees. In Canada, now it's getting cheaper and cheaper to do this. So BMO, $9.95. CIBC has just recently lowered this to $6.95. Then they have this unattainable $4.95 if you do 150 transactions. Qtrade, $8.75. Questrade has a scale, so as low as $4.95 up to $9.95. RBC Direct Investing, $9.95. Scotia iTrade, $9.95. TD Direct, $9.99. And then only a discount down to $7. So actually fairly close, but just a couple pennies different, which made it the worst. TD Direct Invest. And then virtual brokers is the cheapest. And this is actually a new pricing structure. I have friends that we set up virtual brokers accounts with, and they were paying $9.95 for all of their fees up until recently when they changed them. So anybody that currently uses virtual brokers know that there is a new pricing scheme. And if you're on the old one, you should switch, because you can actually get cheaper fees just by sending them an email. ECN fees, you know, I put this in here, but they're not, they're fees that happen on Canadian traded equities over and above. They're very, very, very small. I probably should have just omitted this column, but I did put it in here, and I do have a couple questions as to whether or not they're even could get charged in some of these accounts. I couldn't tell. The minimum account, now this used to be huge. As I said before, Scotia iTrade used to have a $50,000 minimum to open an account. Now they've got no minimum at all. In fact, almost all of them. Questrade's got $1,000, Virtual Brokers has $1,000, and BMO InvestorLine, for some reason, to open a margin account, you need $5,000. And transfer fees, these are a huge one. Everybody wants your business, so they're going to be offering no fees to transfer money from another institution into this institution. And it's a bit hard to actually look up some of these transfer out fees, but I went through all of the documents, and I found out that, you know, BMO InvestorLine, $135. CIBC's Investor's Edge, $135. Qtrade, $125. Say you've got an account at Qtrade and you decide you want to switch it to RBC Direct Invest. Well, although it's going to cost you $125 to switch it out of Qtrade, RBC Direct Invest may actually cover the cost of that transaction. So you can, once you get billed for it, you can bill RBC Direct Invest, and they'll often cover it. So that's a little tip that you should look at if you're in that situation where you want to change your brokerage. Now, I'm not really an advocate of changing brokerages all the time. I feel like go through these things, do your research, pick a company that works, try out their free trials, do some due diligence and get a platform that works for you, and you know, stick with it, because investing is a long-term game and we don't want to have like little accounts spread out here and there. That is not a smart way to do it. It's better to just stick with a couple of companies and have a couple of accounts there. Now, option trades. Now, again, I said at the beginning, there's two streams. So most people are going to be using the trading fees for the ETFs and the basic trading fees. That's the $10 or less. But now option trades, and that's kind of where my focus has shifted, because I was bored with only being able to make money when stocks went from low to high. I wanted the ability to make money when stocks stayed even or even went down. And especially in this bull market that we're having, this has been a very, very good strategy for me. So I encourage everybody to look and listen and watch some of my options videos to try to get a handle on what they are, because they are incredibly powerful. They do have a different set of risks than buying stock directly. And in fact, a lot of times you can actually make your risk less, not more, as the common misconception. So option trades are a big part of my trading, and I went very specifically to look at all of these different things. But I'm going to breeze through this because basically most of the trades are $9.95 or less. The best one being Quest Trade, $4.95 plus 75 cents a contract. TD Direct Invest has the worst. They've got $10 plus $1.25 per contract, which really is not very different than Scotia iTrade, or it's only 4 cents off of RBC Direct, 4 cents off of BMO. So almost all the big ones, the big banks, offer really poor fees for this option trading. Now, the other thing about options is that they can get exercised or assigned, and we have to know the assignment fees because they're huge. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. You can put on an option trade where you're going to make, say, $30 profit. And if something goes wrong with that and you get exercised against you, that assignment fee occurs. And if the assignment fee is $40, not only are you out your entire profit of $30, but you're actually in the whole $10. Which is crazy. Lots of them are like set up like this: $43 plus $10 for your regular fee plus $1.25 per contract. So it'd be like $55 to get out of that trade if it was assigned against you. CIBC's Investor's Edge, as far as I can tell, is only $6.95 plus $1.25, which makes it extremely cheap. I actually am fairly doubtful that this is actually the case. I would guess they have a minimum. It's probably $40, but that would just be speculation. I could not find it. Q-Trade, $30 plus $1 a contract, minimum $45. Quest Trade, again, Quest Trade was really aggressively going after option traders. They've got a low balance here. They've got a low option trading fee. They've got a very aggressive basic trading fee, and then their low exercise assignment fee. So they are an aggressive company. They are looking for people that want to trade. I mean, if you're thinking that you are going to be a day trader, swing trading, doing lots and lots of option trading in the future, Quest Trade has definitely the best rates right now in Canada. RBC Direct Invest, again, $35 minimum. And then Scotia iTrade, $65 is their base. $65 plus 10 plus $1.25 per contract. I can't believe it's that high. It's crazy. TD Direct Investing, $43, and then Virtual Brokers, a flat $40. So there you guys go. There's a rundown of different brokerage platforms and their current prices. Now, of course, these could change. As I said, it's a competitive market. So next week, this chart could be completely out of date. But for right now, this is a good cross-section. It took me quite a while to compile all of this information, as you can imagine. So enjoy it, look through it, and let's get rich together. Remember to hit that like button down below because that helps my channel a ton, and share this video with your friends if you can. Share it on Facebook. Let's get everybody on board with making more money. Thanks so much for watching. See you very soon.